Good morning students and welcome back to Alchemy online classes. Student, in our previous class we have learned about the reasons of failure of the revolt and also the outcomes of the revolt. So first we'll do a quick recap of that. After that we will discuss more. Failure of the revolt. There were many reasons for the failure of the revolt. First, the revolt was not widespread. Only the central and northern parts of India witnessed this revolt. Second, the rebels failed to plan the revolt properly and there was a lack of effective leadership. Third, that all Indians were not united as some of the Indian kings helped the Britishers rather than their own people. Fourth, the British's superior weapon and a large army of Britishers. Now we'll discuss outcome of the revolt. The revolt is considered an important milestone in Indian history because it ended the rule of English East India Company. The British Crown took over the administration of India. The British government appointed Governor General to rule the country. He called the Viceroy. The first Viceroy of India was Lord Canning. Some local rulers were allowed to rule their territories but were under the British rule. The revolt let down the foundation for the future freedom strugglers and inspired several Indian independent movements. So, this all were the reasons of failure of the revolt and outcomes of the revolt. Now student, open page number 12 and read I Wish I Knew section. At the end of the revolt, Bahadur Shah II was arrested and sent to Burma, now Myanmar. With his arrest, the 400 years old Mughal rule came to an end. Student, as we learn that Bahadur Shah II was the last Mughal emperor of India, he supported the revolt march in Delhi. Because of that, he was arrested and it was also the end of Mughal emperor in India. Now open page number 14 and read I think and reflect section. Why do you think Mir Jafar would have conspired with British against the Nawab of Bengal? Conspired means mix up to do some wrong things. According to me, I think Mir Jafar would have conspired with the British against the Nawab of Bengal because he helped the British General Robert Selby in defeating the Nawab, and because of Mir Jafar, Nawab of Bengal lost a battle against the British General. Now open page number 15 of your course book and read I like session. Imagine that you are Mangal Pandey. Write a letter to your friend describing how and why you refused to use Enfield rifle. Explain how you felt at that time. Student, one day, if you remember, we have done diary writing. I told you to imagine yourself as a Mangal Pandey and think about it. If someone told you to bite that cartridge which is made up of gases of pig fat and cow fat, what would you do? So, according to your diary writing, just write a letter to your friend and explain him how you imagine yourself as Mangal Pandey and how you were feeling as Mangal Pandey when you forced to bite that cartilage, which is guessed it with pig fat and cow fat. Now read I learned for life session. One of the major reasons behind the failure of the revolt of 1857 was that the Indians were not united. Why do you think unity is important? How does it help us? Do you think unity is important? Yes, unity is must, because when we are united, no one can break us. And if we are not united, anyone can break us. That thing we learned from the revolt of 1857. At that time, Indian kings were not united. That is why Britishers were having more power and Indians were least in power, because they were not united. Because of that, India lost the battle of 1857 and Britishers were ruling more and more on Indians. Now read I observe section. Student, find out the reasons why the revolt of 1857 is also known as the Spy Mutiny. Describe the meanings of word spy and mutiny. First we will discuss the meaning of spy and mutiny. Later we will discuss why it is called the Battle of Spy and Mutiny. Spy was an Indian soldier serving under British or other Europeans' order. And mutiny means an act of a group of people, especially sailors or soldiers, refusing to obey the person who is in command. So, students, revolt of 1857 is also known as the Spy's Mutiny because Spy refused to obey the British general's order to bite that cartilage. And now last come to I extend session. Do you think soldiers in a nation's army have the right to revolt if they are not satisfied with the order received? What do you think, student? Write your opinions and your thoughts on a page. So, students, you are having two homework. First, you have to write a letter to your friend about your feelings as a Mangal Pandey. And second thing, you have to write the answer of this question. What do you think? Do you think soldiers in a nation's army have the right to revolt if they are not satisfied with the order received? Now, students, in this chapter, we learn about the effect of British rule. We learn that how Britishers were forcing Indian weavers to sell their products at low cost and forcing Indian farmers to grow indigo and cotton. They are also forcing Indian soldiers to bite the cartilage to use in field rifles. The cartilage was made up of pig fat and cow fat. And soldiers were refused to bite that cartilage, and that war became the first war against the British rule or first war of independence. After that, Mangal Pandey refused to bite that cartilage and start a revolt against British rule. And that revolt spread out in India and under the leadership of many leaders. For example, Nana Sahib, Bahadur Shah Zafar, Rani Lakshmibai. We have learned also about the reasons behind the failure of the revolt. We learned that Indians were not united at that time. All kings were fighting each other internally instead of fighting against Britishers. We have learned the outcomes of that revolt. So, the revolt, because of that revolt, that East India, in English East India Company has come an end, and many strugglers, many freedom fighters got the way to fight against British rule. So in our next class, we'll start our new chapter.